My name is Danielle Brooks, but everybody back home in Baltimore calls me Danny. People always say I'm strong. People always say I'm composed. People always say I can survive anything. But the night my husband forgot to hang up the phone, I realized strength has limits. And mine snapped. Before I even begin, I need you. Yes, you're watching this. To please hit the subscribe button, like, and tell me where you're watching from. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you does not make sense at first. You're going to think you know where the story is going, but trust me, you don't. Not even close. And whatever you do, don't skip. One detail, one tiny sound, changed my entire marriage forever. Let me take you back to that night. The night everything shattered. It was a rainy Thursday in Baltimore. One of those nights when lightning keeps flashing behind the clouds. The storm refuses to fully break. The kind of night where your heart feels heavy for no reason. Marcus had left the house around 7 p.m. for what he called a late client showing in Federal Hill. Now listen, Marcus is a real estate investor. He buys, flips, and sells houses. Late showings aren't unusual, but something fell off that night. Maybe it was the weather. Maybe it was the fact that he'd been distant for weeks. Or maybe it was that quiet voice inside me, the one I always ignored, that whispered, "Something's wrong, Danny." Around 8:42 p.m., my phone lit up. Marcus calling. I answered on the first ring. "Hey, babe," I said, trying to sound casual, not needy. "How's the showing going?" No answer, just a line connecting. "Marcus," I asked again. Still nothing. Then I realized something. Marcus's name was on the screen, but he hadn't said anything. He had accidentally called me. Or more accurately, he forgot to hang up. At first all I could hear was muffled noise. Footsteps, a door closing, fabric rustling, then a woman's voice. Soft, warm, way too close. She laughed. "Oh, Marcus, you're terrible. Come here." I froze. My heart didn't break immediately. It paused. It paused like a breathing machine that skipped a beat. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just listened. Because sometimes your body knows something before your mind accepts it. And what I heard next destroyed me. Marcus's voice came through the line. Deep, smooth, calm. The same voice that once made me feel safe. "Relax," he murmured. "She's not even suspicious." "She?" The woman giggled. "You mean your wife?" "No," Marcus said, and his voice turned cold. "I mean Danny. She's too predictable, too trusting. She'll swallow anything I tell her." My heart plummeted. My ears rang. My hand shook so hard the phone nearly slipped. But Marcus kept talking. "She's useful for now. Once everything goes through, I'll be done with her." The woman gasped. "Marcus, don't say it like that." "It's true," he said. "The deal depends on her. After that, she's irrelevant." Irrelevant. Useful. I felt like my lungs were collapsing. But it wasn't over. Oh no, it was only beginning. The woman whispered something I couldn't hear, and Marcus responded. "Baby, don't worry. Danny won't know a thing. She never does. I've already handled the paperwork." Paperwork? What paperwork? Before I could make sense of anything, I heard clothes moving, bodies shifting. This time I hung up. I didn't need to hear more. My husband, my partner, my safest person, was speaking about me like I was a tool, an object, a stepping stone. And the worst part? It wasn't about cheating. No, it was something bigger, darker, much more calculated. Because Marcus Brooks wasn't careless. He wasn't emotional. He was strategic. And whatever paperwork he meant, I wasn't supposed to know about it. I sat on the couch, phone on my lap, staring at nothing. I felt like someone had scooped my heart out with their bare hands. But here's what's strange. I wasn't crying. I wasn't screaming. I felt blank, numb, detached, like I was floating above my own life. And that's when I realized something even more disturbing. Marcus had planned something involving me. Something legal. Something final. I didn't know if it meant money, property, family, or something much worse. But I knew one thing. Marcus wasn't just betraying me. Marcus was setting me up. And if you're watching this right now, don't dare scroll, because you're going to need every detail that comes next to understand the full picture. Because trust me, this story goes way deeper than a cheating husband. Marcus wasn't just lying. Marcus was hiding something that could ruin my entire life. 10 minutes later, my phone rang again. This time, I didn't answer. I watched the phone vibrate across the coffee table like it was alive. He called again, and again, 5 times. Then he texted, "Babe, you home? I'm on my way back. Don't wait up." My throat tightened. Not love you. Not see you soon. Not sorry my last call dropped. Just cold. Dry. Mechanical. It was like he already knew I knew something. Like he was testing the ground. At 9:26 p.m., I heard a knock. Not gentle. Not normal. 3 hard bangs. Bam. 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 "Danny," Marcus called. "Open up." His voice was calm. Too calm. I didn't move. I didn't respond. I stood behind the door, silent, listening to the man who had just called me useful. "Danny," he repeated. "Come on, babe. I know you're awake." My heart thudded against my ribs. His next words made my knees almost give out. "Don't make this difficult." Difficult? Difficult for what? I stepped back from the door, slowly, quietly. That's when his tone changed. Colder, sharper, almost threatening. "Open the door." My blood ran cold. Because that wasn't Marcus, my husband. That was Marcus, the strategist. Marcus, the man with a plan. Marcus, the man who didn't know I had heard everything. I was standing alone in my living room, heart racing, hands shaking, eyes burning, while the man I married tried to get inside, for reasons I didn't understand yet. Marcus wasn't coming home to explain. Marcus wasn't coming home to fix things. Marcus was coming home to execute whatever he had planned. And I wasn't ready, not even close. Before I tell you what happened next, I need you to stay with me. It's the moment everything snapped, the moment the mystery deepened, and the moment I realized I was in real danger. Marcus pounded on the front door again, harder this time. Bam, bam, bam. "Danny, open the door." Every syllable pricked my skin like needles. This wasn't the Marcus I married. This wasn't the man who made me sweet tea on hot Baltimore days, who rubbed my feet after work, who whispered, "You're my peace," against my neck. No, this voice belonged to someone else. Someone cold, calm, calculated. Someone who forgot to hang up the phone. "Danny," he said again, softer now. "Come on, baby. Don't do this." His shift in tone made me feel sick. Marcus always changed his voice when he wanted something. "Just open the door. We can talk." Talk. He had called me useful. He had told another woman I wasn't suspicious, that I was predictable. And he was right. I had been predictable. But not tonight. Tonight, I backed away from the door like it was radioactive. My phone buzzed in my shaking hands. "Marcus again. We need to talk. Now. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." Harder? Harder for who? Me or him? I swallowed hard and typed back with trembling thumbs. "I'm tired. We'll talk tomorrow." I stared at the screen, praying he would accept that. 3 dots appeared immediately. He was typing. "No. Tonight. I'm already here." I lifted my eyes to the front door. His shadow moved beneath it. A chill slithered down my spine. He knew something was wrong. He could feel it, but he didn't know what I had heard. Not yet. Marcus jiggled the doorknob. My heart dropped to my stomach. I had forgotten. I had completely forgotten. I hadn't locked it. It clicked. Soft. Slow. Deadly. Marcus pushed the door open. It creaked, the slow kind of creak that movies use right before something terrible happens. He stepped inside. His silhouette filled the doorway, tall and confident, like he owned the air itself. He closed the door gently behind him. Not a slam, not a rush. That made it worse. Marcus only moved quietly when he was hiding something. "Well," he said finally, setting his keys on the table, "why didn't you open the door?" I forced my lips into something like a smile. A weak one. A scared one. "I was in the bathroom," I lied. "I didn't hear you." He stared at me. Not with suspicion. Not with anger. With calculation. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded. Line number 2. "You look pale," he added, walking closer. Something wrong. Line number 3 was stuck in my throat. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. Because the man I married, the man who had another woman calling him baby, the man who called me useful, the man who had paperwork involving me, the man who told someone I was irrelevant, had just stepped 3 feet away from me, and he had no idea what I knew. When Marcus leaned in to kiss my forehead, I smelled it. Perfume. Not mine. Not anything I owned. Something floral. Sweet. Sticky. Clinging to him like a confession. He pulled back and looked at me with a gentle smile. A fake smile. Miss me? I nodded, because that's what predictable women do. Because that's what he expected. His hand brushed my cheek. He touched me the same way he always did in public. Soft, performative, perfect. But tonight it felt like a stranger's hand. Dinner, he asked casually. I already ate. I whispered. Without me, he joked. I forced a laugh. A performance for a performance. Marcus walked into the kitchen, humming under his breath. Checking things. Opening the fridge. Closing it. I watched him like he was a wild animal. Quiet but dangerous. Then he said something that made every hair on my body stand up. Did you call anyone tonight? My blood ran ice cold. And no, I stuttered. Why? He shrugged. No reason. You just look tense. I forced a smile. Line number 4. He walked over to me, and I instinctively stepped back. His eyebrows raised slightly. You sure you're okay? I nodded too quickly. He tilted his head at me, studying me like he was trying to read my thoughts. But then, just like Marcus always did, he switched from tension to charm. He grabbed his water bottle, twisted off the cap, and drank. Anyway, he said, tomorrow's going to be a big day. I froze again. Big day? For what? I didn't ask. Not yet. Instead, I said, oh, what's happening tomorrow? And his response was a casual grenade. You'll see. Marcus walked to his home office. I heard the desk drawer slide open. Papers shuffled. Folders moved. A safe clicking. I moved silently toward the hallway, pretending to tidy up but really listening. Marcus muttered something I couldn't hear. Then I heard the faint sound of him tearing something. Paper. Several sheets. Ripped. Destroyed. My stomach twisted. He was getting rid of something. Something he didn't want me to see. Something connected to the phone call. I took one step toward the office. The floorboard creaked beneath my foot. Marcus stepped out instantly. Too fast. He stared at me for one tense moment. You need something, Danny? His voice was too calm. Dangerously calm. I shook my head. He held my gaze for another long second before shutting the office door behind him. Not closing. Locking. I heard the click. Then another sound. Something heavy being dragged across the floor. Was he blocking the door? My stomach twisted tighter. Marcus stayed in his office for almost an hour. The entire time, I sat on the couch reviewing everything I heard on the call. She's useful for now. Once everything goes through, the paperwork, she won't know a thing. What paperwork? What deal? And why did it require me? Marcus hated paperwork. The only documents he ever touched were real estate contracts. But what would require him to call me useful? The room felt smaller. The air felt heavier. Marcus felt unfamiliar. Everything in me screamed, you're not safe. Don't be alone with him. Get out. But I stayed. Predictable. Just like he said. The office door finally opened. Marcus stepped out with a smile so warm, so perfect, so practiced that it made me feel physically nauseous. All done, he said lightly. We can relax now. He sat next to me on the couch. Too close. Too comfortable. He draped his arm around my shoulders. You know I love you, right? He said softly. My throat tightened. He kissed my cheek. Still smiling, he whispered, tomorrow, everything changes for us. I swallowed hard. Changes how? He smiled wider. You'll find out. Then he looked me dead in the eyes and added, just don't do anything stupid tonight. My blood froze. He stood up, stretched, and walked toward the bedroom, humming that same calm tune. I sat there frozen, heart pounding, stomach twisting, realizing Marcus wasn't just cheating. Marcus was setting something up, and whatever was happening tomorrow, I was the final piece. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Marcus's voice again. Just don't do anything stupid tonight. Tomorrow, Everything changes for us. The way he said it, calm, sweet, almost gentle, made it 10 times more terrifying. Because Marcus never raised his voice. He didn't need to. He controlled with tone, with charm, with warmth that turned to ice the second he didn't get what he wanted. By sunrise, I had made a decision. I needed answers before tomorrow ruined me. So, while Marcus snored lightly in our bed, as if our lives weren't unraveling, I tiptoed out and began looking. Not snooping. Searching. Surviving. The first place I checked was Marcus's office. Last night it was locked. Now, it was slightly open. Not wide enough to walk through, just enough to send a message. A warning. Or an invitation. I pushed gently, and the door creaked open. Everything looked normal. Too normal. The desk was neat. The trash can was empty. The safe was closed. Not a single piece of paper looked out of place. But something about the air felt wrong. Cold. Uncomfortable. Like the room had secrets built into the walls. My eyes drifted toward the window, and that's when I saw it. A shred of paper on the floor. Just one. Half hidden near the baseboard. I picked it up slowly, my breath catching. It wasn't regular paper. It was legal paper, thicker, off-white official. And on it, in bold typed letters, transfer of. But the rest was ripped off. Transfer of what? Property? Assets? Power of attorney? Something worse? My chest tightened. He was hiding something involving me. Something huge. I slipped the paper shard into my robe pocket, and that's when a soft voice whispered behind me. You're up early. I spun around. Marcus stood in the doorway, leaning against the frame with a small smile. His eyes flickered toward my hands. My empty hands. He hadn't seen the paper. Thank God. I couldn't sleep, I said. He nodded slowly, studying me far too closely. You shouldn't be in here, he said calmly. This room stresses you out. He wasn't wrong, but that wasn't why he didn't want me there. He stepped into the room, brushing past me. His voice softened. Danny, don't make today hard. Hard. There was that word again. Then he kissed my temple, walked out, and said over his shoulder, Get dressed. We have somewhere to be at noon. Noon? My stomach dropped. What was happening at noon? I waited until he walked away. Then I pulled out the paper scrap again. Just one piece. But it was enough to terrify me. Transfer of what? Me? My rights? My name? My fear grew roots. At 10:17 a.m., while Marcus showered, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Normally I would ignore it, but anxiety makes you bold. I answered. Hello. Silence. Then a voice whispered, fast, panicked, urgent. Is this Danielle Brooks? Yes, I breathed. Who is this? The voice trembled. You don't know me, but you need to listen carefully. You're in danger. I froze. My heart hammered so hard the phone shook in my hand. Danger from who? The person inhaled sharply. Your husband. My knees went weak. I don't understand, I stammered. What kind of danger? The voice lowered to a fearful whisper. Marcus isn't who you think he is. And whatever he's planning. The line cut. Silence. Dead. Just like that. I stared at my screen, numb. The number was blocked immediately. The call record disappeared. Gone. Like it never existed. The bathroom door opened. Marcus stepped out, towel around his waist, humming the same soft tune from last night. He kissed my cheek casually. You ready to go? He asked. I swallowed hard. Where are we going? He smiled warmly. You'll see. Marcus drove us toward downtown Baltimore. Hand relaxed on the wheel, windows down slightly, breeze blowing in. Like any other day. Like we weren't headed somewhere that would change everything. But I couldn't stop replaying the unknown voice. You're in danger. Your husband isn't who you think he is. I watched Marcus's profile. Smooth jawline. Clean haircut. Steady breathing. He looked normal. He looked calm. He looked like the man I married. But now, I didn't trust a single breath he took. He glanced at me. You're quiet today. Just tired, I said. His fingers tapped the steering wheel rhythmically, a habit he had when thinking. Danny, he said slowly, you know I love you, right? The question sounded wrong. Like a script. Like he had rehearsed it. I nodded. He smiled gently. Good. That was all. Just one word. But that word felt like a cage locking. We pulled up in front of a tall glass building in downtown Baltimore. Sleek, Modern, intimidating. Not a restaurant. Not a lawyer's office. Not a hospital. A title, indeed, agency. My stomach flipped. Marcus parked the car, got out calmly, and opened my door like a gentleman. "Come on," he said cheerfully. "We're running late." "Late? For what?" He placed his hand gently on the small side of my back as we walked inside. The receptionist smiled warmly. "You must be Marcus Brooks," she said. "We've been expecting you." Expecting him? Marcus nodded with that charming grin he reserved for strangers. "And this is my wife," he said, squeezing my shoulder. "Danielle." Expecting him. 12 o'clock deadline. Legal building. Transfer paperwork. My pulse pounded. Two men in suits approached. "Mr. Brooks," one said, "we have everything ready. Just need her signature." "Signature? My signature? For what?" Marcus turned to me with a soft smile. "Babe, relax. It's just paperwork. Just paperwork." The same word he used last night on the call. My hands went cold. What am I signing?" I asked. He kissed my forehead. "You trust me, don't you?" I nearly choked. Before I could answer, the man in the suit said, "Shall we head to the signing room?" Marcus nodded. I didn't move. I couldn't. Marcus looked at me, eyes darkening just slightly. "Danny," he said quietly, "come on." It wasn't a request. It was a command. My feet moved because fear pushed them. We entered a glass-walled conference room. Marcus held out a chair for me. I sat stiffly. The man slid a document across the table. My eyes read the title. Joint Ownership Transfer Agreement. Beneficiary, Danielle Brooks. Secondary beneficiary, Jordan Lane. Jordan Lane. Jordan Lane. A name I didn't know. A name I had heard, but not from Marcus. Jordan Lane was the woman from the call. The woman he was cheating with. The woman he whispered to. The woman he told everything to. Marcus placed a pen in my hand gently. "Go on," he whispered. "Sign." I blinked. Confused. Shaking. What is this?" Marcus sat next to me, expression soft. Too soft. "It's simple," he said. "If something ever happens to me, everything transfers to you." He smiled warmly. "And if something happens to both of us, it goes to Jordan." The room spun. Jordan. The other woman. Why would she be listed? Why was I primary beneficiary? Why was she secondary? Why did Marcus need this done today? Unless Marcus was planning something far worse than cheating. "Marcus," I whispered, "why would something happen to us?" His jaw tightened for the first time. He leaned closely, lips brushing my ear. "Danny, don't ruin this." The man in the suit cleared his throat. "Everything is in order. We just need her signature." Marcus smiled at me again, but his eyes were dead, cold, empty, calculated. I looked at the document again, and that's when I noticed something chilling. My name was typed at the bottom, above the signature line. The date was today, but next to it, there was already a signature. My signature. My handwriting. My name. My signature. I hadn't signed anything. Ever. "Marcus," I whispered, voice trembling. "Why is my signature already here?" He didn't blink. He didn't flinch. He didn't panic. He smiled. "Oh," he said gently, "that's just a preliminary copy." He reached for the pen again, but I snapped the paper away, heart racing, breath shaking. This wasn't preliminary. This was forged. Marcus had forged my signature. I felt numb. My hand was shaking so badly that I had to grip my purse just to steady myself. Everything from the last 48 hours kept looping in my head like a movie I didn't ask to watch. Marcus had forged documents. Jordan Lane, whoever that woman was, had been listed as his secondary beneficiary. And a strange, trembling voice had whispered through the phone, "Danny, you're in danger. Leave that house." But Marcus stood in front of me now, calm, collected, and smiling like nothing in the world was wrong. "Come on, babe," he said, resting a gentle palm on the small of my back. "Let's go inside. We've got paperwork to review." Paperwork. What a cute little word for legal entrapment. I swallowed hard. My mouth was so dry I could barely speak. "Marcus, what is this about?" I murmured. He opened the door to his home office and motioned me in. "Just some insurance clarifications. You know how this stuff is. Boring." But nothing about Marcus ever felt boring anymore. Dangerous? Unpredictable? Sharp enough to cut me even when he was smiling? Yes. He gestured to a chair. Sit, sweetheart. I didn't want to sit. I wanted to run. But I lowered myself into the chair because my legs felt like wet noodles. He slid a stack of neatly stapled forms in front of me. Everything perfectly aligned. Marcus was always precise, always polished, always rehearsed. Read these over and sign, he said softly, leaning against the desk. My eyes scanned the bold letters at the top. Transfer of ownership. Financial consent agreement. Primary beneficiary update request. My heartbeat slammed against my ribs. Marcus, I whispered, why am I signing beneficiary paperwork? He chuckled, a soft, controlled exhale through his nose, as if I was a child asking why the sky was blue. You're overthinking again, Danny. It's just routine. My lawyer said we should update a few things. Routine? Routine. I felt that voice again, the one from the unknown caller, echoing in my skull. They're setting you up. Marcus's smile dropped. Not slowly, not subtly, not gently. It fell off his face like someone hit a light switch. His jaw tightened. His eyes hardened. His voice dropped an entire octave. Danny, he said sharply, sign the papers. I froze. Something in my chest cracked open. Fear, realization, heartbreak. I couldn't tell which. Maybe all three. I stared at him. Marcus, who is Jordan Lane? He didn't blink. Not once. He just tilted his head slightly, then smiled, but not a real smile. The kind of smile a villain gives right before the plot twist. Oh, he whispered. So you've been snooping. My blood turned cold. I wasn't snooping. I stuttered. I just saw. You saw what I allowed you to see, he interrupted, pushing off the desk and circling behind me. I felt his presence at my back. Too close, too warm, too sharp. He leaned down, his lips brushing my ear. Jordan Lane is the only person I trust to handle things if you don't cooperate. My breath hitched. Handle things? What things? Marcus, I whispered. Are you threatening me? He laughed softly, placing both hands on the chair's backrest, trapping me in place. Sweetheart, he murmured. If I were threatening you, you'd know. My phone buzzed inside my purse. Marcus reached down and snatched it before I could move. He glanced at the screen. A private number. His smile disappeared again. Danny, who keeps calling you? My stomach flipped. He answered the call. Hello. Silence. Then a shaky whisper. Danielle, he's going to hurt you. You need to. Marcus hung up. Calmly. Purposefully. Then he turned the phone over in his hand, his eyes scanning me like a criminal profiler. You seem to have a lot of secrets lately. I wanted to scream. Cry. Run. Anything but sit frozen in that chair. Give me my phone, Marcus, I whispered. He shook his head. No, not until we finish. A knock at the front door echoed through the house. Loud, firm, unexpected. Marcus exhaled in annoyance. Who the hell? He left the office and walked toward the entryway, muttering under his breath. The moment he turned the corner, I scrambled to my feet. My legs nearly gave out, but I forced myself to stand. My eyes darted around the room. There, behind the printer, a small USB drive. Marcus had always been obsessive about hiding things in plain sight. Hands shaking, I grabbed it and shoved it into my bra just as I heard Marcus's voice. Yes? Can I help you? A woman's voice answered. Older, shaky but strong. I'm here to speak with your wife. Marcus replied. She's unavailable. And the woman responded. Tell her it's about Jordan Lane. My heart stopped. Every nerve in my body lit up. Jordan Lane. That name again. Like a ghost haunting me. Marcus's tone shifted, irritated, ready to snap. You need to leave now. I step out of the office. Marcus, who is that? He spun around, his face reddening with panic and frustration. No one you need to worry about. But the woman behind him leaned forward, a black woman in her late 50s, wearing a brown trench coat, eyes full of guilt and urgency. And she said the words that broke me. Danielle, Jordan Lane is not a woman. Marcus froze. I froze. Everything froze. And her next sentence hit me like a train. Jordan Lane is Marcus's brother, and he's supposed to be dead. For a full 5 seconds, I forgot how to breathe. Dead, I whispered, staring at the woman in the doorway. Jordan Lane is dead? The woman nodded once. Slowly, deliberately. Yes, baby. Jordan Lane died 7 years ago in Miami. I was there. I saw his body. Marcus shot her a look so sharp it could slice concrete. Leonora, that's enough. Leonora. So that was her name. She stepped inside without permission. Her gaze never left mine. Danielle, my name is Leonora Lane. Jordan was my son. My knees nearly buckled. Marcus stormed toward her. You need to leave this house now. But she didn't even flinch. She just pointed a trembling finger toward the office behind me. Your husband has been using Jordan's identity. That's how he's laundering money. That's how he's moving assets around. That's why your name is suddenly all over documents you never signed. My heart dropped straight through the floor. Laundering money? Forging signatures? Identity theft of his own dead brother? What? My voice cracked. Why would Marcus? Leonora shook her head, tears welling up. Because Jordan trusted him, and he betrayed my son even in death. A sudden coldness filled the hallway like a storm surge. Marcus's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. Leonora, I'm warning you. She turned to him, shaking her shoulders. You already killed one son of mine with your lies. You won't destroy another woman's life to cover your tracks. My breath caught. Killed? 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 I stared at Marcus, waiting, hoping for him to laugh. Deny it. Shake his head. Say anything that made this make sense. Instead, he smiled. Not a warm smile. Not a guilty smile. A slow, calm, calculated smile that felt like ice sliding down my spine. You're really going to drag up old stories, Leonora? That heart attack Jordan had. You're still blaming me for it. Leonora let out a painful, choked sound. You were the last one with him. Marcus shrugged. So, people die. The room went silent. I felt something crack inside me. Something fragile and important. This man, the same man who held me when I cried, who danced with me in the kitchen, who whispered promises in my ear, now looked like a stranger wearing Marcus's face. A terrifying, smiling stranger. Leonora turned to me again, her voice shaking but determined. Danielle, that phone call you got wasn't a prank. Someone is trying to warn you. Marcus has been putting everything in your name. If anything happens to him. She paused, looked directly into my eyes. You will go down for it. My legs turned to jelly. Marcus stepped between us, his body blocking my view of her. He leaned down on my face, voice velvet smooth and venomous. Baby, don't listen to her. She's grieving. She's unstable. She hates me because I built a life Jordan never could. Leonora growled under her breath. You didn't build anything but a house of lies. Marcus didn't even look at her. His eyes stayed glued to mine, dark and hypnotizing. Danielle, he whispered, come upstairs with me. Let's talk privately. Privately, where no one could hear me scream. Something in my chest screamed run. I stepped back. No, I said softly. I'm not going anywhere with you. Marcus blinked slowly. The calm evaporated. Danny, he said, voice sharp. Don't make this difficult. He reached for my arm. Reflexively, I stepped away, but my heel slipped. I stumbled backward, catching myself on the wall. Leonora rushed forward, grabbing my hand. Baby, come with me. Now. Marcus moved fast, too fast. He slammed his hand against the wall beside my head, blocking my path. His other hand grabbed my wrist. You're not going anywhere, he snarled. We need to talk about all of this. My heart hammered in my chest. Marcus, you're hurting me. His grip tightened. That's because you're not listening. Leonora shoved him with surprising strength. Let her go. Marcus stumbled one step back, just enough for me to break free. Leonora pulled me toward the open hallway. Run, she whispered. Run, Danielle. And I did. I bolted through the living room, nearly tripping over the rug, sprinting toward the kitchen door that led to the backyard. Behind me, Marcus's voice roared through the house. Danielle, if you leave, you'll regret it. But I didn't stop. I pushed through the back door and into the cold Baltimore air. Leonora followed me outside, slamming the door shut behind us. She grabbed both my hands, breathing hard. Danielle, listen to me carefully. I nodded, tears streaming down my cheeks. She reached in her coat and pulled out a small, worn envelope. This, she whispered, was the last thing Jordan gave me before he died. She placed it into my trembling hands. Inside was a flash drive, a key, a handwritten note that made my blood freeze. If anything happens to me, check the storage unit. Address, Miami, Florida. Unit number, 317B. Passcode, 0526. Do not trust Marcus. I felt the world tilt. A storage unit. Jordan's handwriting. A warning from beyond the grave. Leonora squeezed my hands. That storage unit holds the truth about Jordan's death and what Marcus is planning to do to you. I stared at the key. My voice barely came out. What's inside the unit? Leonora looked me dead in my eyes. And the next sentence hit like a sledgehammer. Proof that Marcus didn't just let Jordan die. He helped him die. The key felt heavier than metal. It felt like a countdown. A warning. A truth I wasn't sure my heart was ready to know. Leonora stepped closer, lowering her voice. We don't have much time. Marcus won't stay inside for long. My breath caught as the back door rattled. Marcus pounding from the other side. Danielle, open this door. Leonora flinched but stayed firm. We need to leave now. Miami is the only place you'll find answers. My hands were shaking so badly the envelope almost slipped. Miami, I whispered. You want me to fly across the country? Tonight? No, she said. I want us to drive. I blinked. Drive? That's almost 19 hours. I know. She nodded with cold determination. But flying leaves a trail Marcus can track. Driving keeps us off record. The back door slammed again, harder. Danielle, don't walk away from me. Leonora grabbed my arm. We need to go. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I let someone lead me. We raced her car, an old green SUV, and jumped inside. My chest tightened as she reversed down the driveway. Just as we reached the street, the front door burst open. Marcus sprinted out, eyes blazing, voice booming into the night. Danielle, if you leave with her, you're throwing your life away. I didn't look back. I couldn't. My voice trembled. What if he follows us? Leonora pressed the gas harder. He won't. He can't risk the neighbors seeing him chase you. Not with everything already falling apart. But something in her tone told me another truth. Marcus wasn't done. Not even close. Hours passed. Highways blurred. I watched city lights fade into darkness as we crossed state lines. Leonora's hands gripped the wheel tightly. I finally broke the silence. You said Marcus helped Jordan die. My chest ached. What did you mean? Leonora exhaled, a long, painful, exhausted breath. They ruled Jordan's death a heart attack. But Jordan was healthy, young, strong, no heart issues. I swallowed hard. So what happened? She hesitated. 2 nights before he died, Jordan came home, terrified. He told me Marcus was involved in something dangerous, something that scared even him. Her voice cracked. He said Marcus asked him to move money, illegal money, using his identity. Jordan refused, and Marcus didn't take rejection well. The car fell silent. A cold shiver crept down my arms. Do you think Marcus killed him? My voice barely came out. Leonora didn't answer for a moment. Then, I think Jordan died because he crossed Marcus. And Marcus never forgives disobedience. A chill crawled up my spine. Marcus's voice echoed through my mind. People die. We reached Miami just after sunrise. The sky was a watercolor wash of orange and pink, but I felt none of its beauty. My stomach knotted as the storage facility came into view, a row of gray metal units behind a chain-link fence. Unit 317B, just like the note said. Leonora parked, killed the engine, and turned to me. This is it. Whatever is in there, it could destroy Marcus. I stared at the key in my shaking hand. Destroy me? I whispered. Leonora didn't deny it. Instead, she reached into her coat and handed me a small handheld flashlight. We go together, but before we stepped out of the car, a black SUV turned sharply into the parking lot. My heart almost stopped. Leonora muttered, "No, no, no, no." Doors opened. Heavy footsteps hit the pavement. And then I saw him. Marcus, still wearing last night's clothes. Eyes wild, face strained with fury, and something even scarier, desperation. He had followed us. He had found us. And he was walking right toward us. Leonora grabbed my wrist. "Move. Now." We ran between the rows of storage units, metal doors clattering as we brushed past them. Marcus's voice chased us. "Danielle, stop running from me." We reached the end of the row, 317B. I fumbled with the key. Leonora stood between me and Marcus, blocking his path like a shield. He slowed to a stop, breathing hard, hands raised. "Danielle, baby, please." His voice softened, terrifyingly calm. "Come to me. We can fix this." I finally managed to twist the lock. The metal latch clicked. Marcus's expression changed instantly, from pleading to poisonous. "Don't open that door." My fingers trembled around the handle. He stepped forward. "Danny, I swear to God, if you open that." I pulled the door up. The metal screeched loudly. Marcus lunged, but Leonora shoved him back with every ounce of strength she had. The flashlight beam cut through the darkness of the storage unit. And the first thing I saw, the first thing that made my stomach drop, was a wall of photographs. Marcus, Jordan, documents, account statements, fake IDs, passports. And then my blood froze, because right in the center hung a photograph of me, dated 3 months before I ever met Marcus. My vision blurred. My heart stopped. "Leonora," I whispered, "why is my picture here?" Marcus's voice echoed behind us. Cold, triumphant, cruel. "Because, Danielle." I turned slowly as his smile stretched slowly and sinister. "You were never an accident. You were chosen." My ears rang. Chosen. The word felt like poison soaking into my skin. Marcus stepped closer, every movement slow and deliberate, as if he already owned the ending of this story. 3 months before you met me, he said, "I saw you at that charity gala downtown. Alone, quiet, smart, beautiful." His smile widened. Someone who could be shaped, trusted, someone with no criminal history, a clean slate. Leonora shook her head, fire in her eyes. "You targeted her. You groomed her." He didn't deny it. Instead, he shrugged. "It's called strategy. I needed someone innocent, someone believable, someone the authorities wouldn't question once accounts shifted." My stomach twisted. "You put things in my name," I whispered. "All those documents, you planned that?" "Of course," he said softly. "That was the point." I stepped back, my legs trembling. "So what was I, Marcus? Your wife or your cover?" His eyes flickered, just for a second, revealing the truth he didn't want to admit. "A little of both." Leonora spat on the ground near his feet. "You're sick." But Marcus barely blinked. His gaze locked back onto me. "Danny, baby." His voice softened, dripping with manipulation. "I wasn't going to hurt you. I was protecting you. All of this," he gestured to the photos, the forged documents, Jordan's files, was business. And we were building a future. "A future you planned," I whispered. "A future I didn't even know I was part of." He stepped forward. "That's because you don't understand the world I'm in. Trust me." Leonora cut him off sharply. "She's not trusting you anymore, Marcus." Marcus's expression hardened. His jaw clenched. "You always ruined everything, Leonora. Even when Jordan was alive, you poisoned him against me. And now," he pointed at me, "we're doing the same damn thing to her." Leonora let out a bitter, shaky laugh. "You destroyed Jordan long before he turned on you." Marcus's eyes flashed with rage. He stepped toward her, but I moved in front of her instinctively. Marcus stopped. For the first time, he hesitated. Not because he feared Leonora, but because he still thought he could control me. Get out of the way, Danny. No. His voice dropped to a low growl. Move. I said no. Something snapped in his expression, something ugly and unrestrained. All right, he whispered. Then I guess you'll see the rest of the truth. I turned back toward the storage unit. The flashlight beam landed on something in the far corner, a dusty metal lockbox. Names etched on the top. Jordan Lane. Leonora gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Open it, she said. My hand shook as I knelt and lifted the lid. Inside were a medical report, a phone, a handwritten letter addressed to Leonora, and a voice recorder. I picked it up with trembling fingers. Leonora's voice broke. That's Jordan's. Marcus lunged forward. Don't touch that. But I pressed play. A soft crackle. Then Jordan's voice, weak, trembling, terrified. If you're hearing this, Mom, something happened to me. Marcus did something. I don't feel right. I think a choking sound. A thud. Silence. Leonora crumpled against the wall, sobbing. I covered my mouth, my whole body shaking. Marcus's face went blank, emotionless. Then slowly, coldly, he spoke. Jordan shouldn't have recorded that. Something broke inside me. Something deep. Something final. You killed him, I whispered. Marcus didn't blink. He left me no choice. Leonora lunged toward him, screaming, but he shoved her aside. She crashed into the metal wall with a painful thud. Leonora, I cried. Marcus grabbed my arm with steel-like force. You're coming with me, Danny. No, let go. You're my wife. You made vows, and you're not leaving me. I struggled, panic choking me. Let me go. And then, I grabbed the lockbox and swung it. Metal slammed into his temple. Marcus staggered back, stunned. I grabbed Leonora's hand. We have to run. But before we could, Marcus straightened, blood dripping down the side of his face. His smile was something out of nightmare. You're making the biggest mistake of your life, he said softly. His voice was calm, too calm. You think you can run from me? His eyes sharpened. I always finish what I start. I felt the truth in my bones. This wasn't over. Not even close. We ran. Out of the aisle. Across the parking lot. Toward the main street. But Marcus's footsteps thundered behind us. I could hear him gaining. Leonora stumbled, but I pulled her up. We're almost there. But Marcus was faster. Too fast. He grabbed my shirt, yanking me backward so hard I almost fell. Danny, enough. I turned, and, for the last time, I saw the real him. Not the man who held me. Not the man who kissed me. Not the man who promised a life. But the predator. The planner. The executioner. His grip tightened around my wrist, so hard I screamed. Let her go, Leonora yelled, grabbing his arm from behind. Marcus spun, shoving her off, but she didn't let go. He struggled with her just long enough for me to wrench free. I stumbled back, right as Marcus shoved Leonora violently. She fell. Hard. Her head struck the edge of a concrete divider. I screamed. Leonora. Marcus froze. Leonora lay still. Too still. His face pale for the first time. Mom. Silence. He knelt beside her, shaking her shoulder. Mama. When she didn't move, something inside Marcus shattered. Not rage. Not guilt. But fear. Pure, unfiltered fear. He turned toward me, eyes wide. Danny, we need to go. Now. They'll blame us both. They'll think we. No. My voice came out cold. Steady. Done. I backed away slowly, pulling out the phone from Jordan's lockbox. I pressed one button. 911. Marcus's eyes widened in horror. Danny, N.O. The call connected. 911. What's your emergency? I stared right into Marcus's face as I spoke. My husband killed his brother, and now he's hurt his mother. Please send help. Marcus lunged, but sirens wailed in the distance. He froze, realizing it was over. Truly over. His voice cracked, not with anger but panic. Danny, please don't do this. But I stepped back, tears streaming down my face. You did this, I whispered. You chose this path. Not me. Police cars turned into the lot. Marcus backed away like a trapped animal. Then he ran, but he didn't get far. Officers swarmed him, tackling him to the ground. He screamed my name as they cuffed him, accusing, begging, cursing, crying. I watched in silence. For the first time, I wasn't afraid of him. I wasn't his puppet. I wasn't chosen. I was free. And Leonora, despite everything, had saved me. Weeks later, I sat in a courtroom. Marcus was let in, wrists chained. He didn't look at me. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just stared forward as the charges were read. Identity theft, fraud, conspiracy, homicide, attempted homicide. Jordan finally got justice. Leonora was buried beside her son. And me? I walked out of that courtroom a different woman. Not broken, not afraid, just awake. Because sometimes the person you sleep next to isn't who you think they are. Sometimes love is a mask. And sometimes the only way to survive is to take it off first.